This is the Buffett Mindset channel where we practice patience and calm wealth building daily. If you enjoy these types of videos, consider liking and subscribing. This will mean a lot to the channel. If you aim to train your mind to think only of riches, you must first understand that riches are not a reward. They are a reflection of the laws you obey within yourself. The average man believes wealth comes from toil, struggle, and long hours. He believes fortune smiles only on the lucky, or the connected, or the chosen. But the truth is simpler and far more demanding. The mind creates first, and the world follows after. Thought is the sculptor, reality the clay. You cannot outwork a poor thought life, you can only outthink it. To become rich in hand, you must first become rich in thought. This is the foundation of every empire, every invention, every fortune that ever was. The poor think wealth is something to chase. The rich understand wealth is something to command. So if I were teaching you to train your mind, I'd begin here. You must separate yourself from the mental diet of the masses. Every word, every headline, every conversation that feeds fear, scarcity, and doubt, cut it off at poison, because it is poison. The world will fill your mind with noise until your inner wealth starves to death. Most people do not fail due to lack of opportunity. They fail because they allow their attention to be hijacked by the trivial. You must treat your attention like sacred currency. It is, whatever claims it, commands you, and whatever you feed it, grows. Feed it chaos, and you'll harvest confusion. Feed it riches, and you'll harvest wealth. The mind cannot tell the difference between the imagined and the real lot builds both with equal obedience. I would rise every morning with a single declaration. My mind is the workshop of infinite riches. I would speak it aloud, not a hope, but a command. Because words are not sounds, they are orders. Every time you speak, your subconscious records and obeys. Most men need their words as complaints. The rich is their words as blueprints. When you speak with certainty, your inner world begins construction on your behalf. That is how the unseen becomes seen. You cannot afford to joke about failure or speak idly of lack. You are training a mind that takes everything literally. Guard your speech as you would guard gold. Now, wealth does not respond to the man who thinks vaguely. Responds to the man who thinks definitely. The universe despises confusion. It rewards precision. If you ask it for a little more, it'll give you just that little. If you think in probabilities, your life becomes a gamble. But if you think in laws, your life becomes a certainty. Every rich man you admire, Carnegie, Rockefeller, Ford, Buffett, trained his mind not in fantasy, but in definiteness. They saw their fortunes long before the world did. They wrote their aims down, not dreams, but as decrees. You must do the same. Write it clear, speak it boldly, visualize it daily. The mind is mechanical, it obeys repetition. The more definite your mental vet, the faster it manifests in form. Let me tell you something few understand. Riches are a vibration before they are a possession. Thought is energy, and energy attracts its equal. If your thoughts are tangled in fear, you repel wealth. If they are infused with faith, you magnetize it. You don't need to fight for money, you need to become compatible with it. Imagine a radio dial. Poverty is tuned to fear and doubt. Riches are tuned to confidence and clarity. Both exist in the same air, but you only receive what you're tuned to. So the real task is tuning your inner frequency to abundance and holding it steady when the storms come. Because the storms will test your vibration. They'll tempt you to think small, to panic, to retreat. But the man who can hold a prosperous thought in the midst of chaos, that man cannot be denied. Another law I drill into my bones. Emotion fuels manifestation. Thought without feeling is just ink on paper. Feeling is the current that turns it into reality. That's why belief is the ultimate generator of wealth. It fuses imagination with emotion until both become fact. If you visualize wealth but feel doubt, you neutralize your power. But if you visualize wealth and feel gratitude, if it were already yours, you set the universe in motion. Gratitude is the mental signature of possession. It tricks the subconscious into acting in if the outcome has already arrived. And when the subconscious accepts something in true, reality adjusts itself accordingly. Now, discipline must govern this process. A mind left untrained will wander back to scarcity like a mule to old habits. Every morning and every night, you must feed it riches, read your purpose, picture your wealth, speak your ermine. Do it until it becomes instinct. The weak call this delusion. The wise call it repetition, because repetition is as the brain learns. It is as belief is installed. You are not pretending. You are programming. You are writing new laws into your nervous system, replacing the language of poverty with the dialect of prosperity. And you must not share this training with doubters. Their disbelief will corrode your conviction faster than rust eats steel. The poor in mind cannot comprehend the rich in thought. They will laugh, they will mock, they will warn you to be realistic. Let them. Realism is the refuge of the untrained. You are not then to be realistic. You are read to be relentless. The man who holds faith long enough bends reality until it becomes realistic to him. I would also remind you, thinking of unlimited riches is not about greed, it is about growth. The more wealth you create, the more you expand the reach of what's possible. Wealth is not just accumulation, it is amplification. Amplifies your habits, your character, your power to serve. When a good man becomes rich, the world becomes richer through him. That is why you must not think small. Small thinking is selfish, keeps your potential locked away. But when you think in unlimited riches, you think a creator, one who multiplies value, not hoards it. Finally, understand this. Training the mind is not an event, it is a covenant. You will fall back into old patterns. The mind will resist, rebel, and retreat. But each time you win it back, you strengthen your dominion. Each moment of control is a victory over chaos. Over time, you will notice the shift opportunities will appear. When none existed, ideas will find you, people will align, and resources will move. This is not magic. It is mathematics, cause and effect, law and response. The mind, once trained to think in unlimited riches, becomes a magnet for them, and once you reach that state, you will never worry about money again, not because you have it, but because you are it. Wealth ceases to be something you chase. It becomes the air you breathe. Say this aloud and mean it. I train my mind daily to think only of riches. My thoughts are gold, my words are power, my actions are law. I do not wish for wealth, I align with it. Do this not for a day, not for a week, but until your subconscious kneels in obedience. When that day comes, the world will move around you differently. You will see what others cannot, attract what others chase, and live in a rhythm that feels inevitable. That is the mark of a man who has mastered the ultimate craft, not the art of making money, but the art of commanding it. Understand this deeply. Wealth is not built by chance or accident. It is constructed thought by thought, belief by belief, brick by brick, within the citadel of your mind. When I tell you to train your mind to think only of riches, I do not speak of greed or excess. I speak of mastery. You must first master the invisible before you can command the visible. A man who cannot control what he dwells upon can never control what he touches. If your mind is scattered, your results will be scattered. If your mind is clear, your results will be clear. So the question is not, how do I earn more? The question is, how do I think more precisely? Because the man who thinks with precision never wonders where the money will come from. He already knows it on its way. You see, most men are like farmers who plant weeds and expect corn. They wake every morning thinking about debt, fear, limitation, what they lack and what they cannot do. And then they're surprised when lack continues to multiply. But life is not mysterious, it is mathematical. Whatever you plant in your mind with repetition and emotion must grow in your world. The field never questions the seed, it just obeys it. So when you think in riches, truly consistently, with certainty, the field of life begins to yield prosperity in forms you could never predict. It comes ideas, people, opportunities, coincidences, all synchronized around the vibration you hold within. That is how wealth manifests. It doesn't fall from the sky, it forms through law. The first discipline is this: make your dominant thought abundance, not scarcity. When your mind wakes, command it immediately with gratitude and direction. Don't let the old anxious voice speak first. That voice has ruled you long enough. The moment you open your eyes, speak power. I live in abundance. Money flows to me through countless channels. I am worthy of wealth, and I use it wisely. Do not whisper it timidly. Declare it an order to your subconscious army, because your subconscious mind does not respond to suggestions, it responds to commands backed by faith. You must speak like a king giving decrees, not like a beggar making requests. And every time fear tries to return, every time you see the bank balance, the bills, the delay, do not bow to it. Instead, say to yourself quietly, this too is part of the process. My mind remains loyal to wealth. This is where most men fail. They think they can hold faith only when results are visible, but faith's real test is when results disappear. The moment you doubt, you rewrite your command. The subconscious is obedient but not discerning. It'd follow whatever order is most repeated. If you rehearse worry, it obeys worry. If you rehearse riches, it obeys riches. That's why you must hold your vision so fiercely it burns through every wave of fear that tries to smother it. Let me make something plain. This law of riches is not new. It is eternal. Every prophet, every builder, every inventor, every captain of industry has used it. They might have haunted belief, visualization, prayer, or definite purpose, but it all the same current under different names. They understood that life doesn't respond to need, it responds to focus. Carnegie saw steel long before it was forged.
Edison saw lag for it shone. Ford saw wheels before they turned. Buffett sees value where others see noise. The difference between these men and the rest of the world is not intelligence. It is consistency of thought. They refuse to think poor. They refuse to entertain limitation. They refuse to allow a sinful day to pass without watering their vision. You must do the same. Every day, sit in silence for 10 minutes and imagine your wealth is already complete. See it in vivid detail. The accounts, the assets, the comfort, the stability, the service you provide. Don't imagine how it to come. Imagine how it feels once it be. This exercise is not daydreaming, it is construction. You are building mental blueprints that your subconscious will later translate into opportunities. The world you live in is just a delayed mirror of what you've been thinking. So if you want a new reflection, change the image now. But here where most give up, they grow impatient. They demand the seed to sprout before it rooted. They look for signs, and when they see none, they call the law a lie. But patience is proof of belief.
If you truly believe that your thoughts create, then waiting becomes effortless, but you know the result is inevitable. The farmer does not dig up his seed every morning to check on its progress. He trusts the law of growth. You must do the same. Trust that the unseen forces are arranging themselves in your favor, even when the outer world seems still. Train your mind also to see money's serfs. Money is not evil. It is not spiritual corruption. It is concentrated service rendered and value exchanged. Every dollar you earn is the of something useful you've done for another. If you wish to receive more, you must think more deeply about how to serve more. That the paradox, wealth grows fastest when you stop thinking about taking and start thinking about building. The man who asks, how can I give more value to more people, becomes a magnet for wealth, because the law rewards those who multiply usefulness. Guard your circle too. Surround yourself only with those who speak in the frequency of growth. Poverty is contagious, not in wallet, but in words.
Those own you constantly talk about what they can't do, can't afford, can't achieve. It infects your belief like a virus. Leave them gently but firmly. Protect your environment and you would protect your fortune, because one will always mirror the other. The men who rise to wealth always do so after cleansing their surroundings of mediocrity. And lastly, remember the goal is not to think of riches as an escape, but that an expression. The rich man you are becoming is not different from who you are. He is simply you without limitation. When you think in riches, you're not becoming something new. You're remembering something ancient. You are aligning with the truth that abundance was always your natural state. The universe itself is overflowing, infinite stars, infinite oceans, infinite possibilities. Why should your share be any less infinite? Poverty is the illusion. Abundance is the law. So from this day forward, every thought you allow must pass this test. Does it build or does it rake? Does it multiply or does it diminish? If it builds and multiplies, keep it. If it breaks and diminishes, destroy it at once.
You cannot afford the luxury of a weak thought. For weak thoughts create weak men, and weak men live weak lives. But you were not born for weakness. You were born to command the invisible, to train your mind like an instrument, to hold the image of riches so long and so strong that even the heavens bend to your belief. Now, let it tell you a secret most men will never grasp in their lifetime. Wealth does not begin when you receive money. It begins the moment you decide you are worthy of it. That one inner shift, quiet and invisible though it may be, transforms your entire destiny. Until you believe you deserve riches, you unconsciously sabotage every opportunity to earn them. You will reject offers that feel too good, undercharge for your work, and talk yourself out of ideas that could have changed your life. Why? Because your subconscious cannot accept more than it believes it worth. You can labor endlessly, chase every scheme, exhaust yourself in motion, but until you rewire your worth, wealth will slip through your hands like water through a broken cup.
So the first law of training your mind to think in riches is this. Decide you are worthy now. Not later, not after success, not when the evidence appears, now. Because worth is not something you earn, it's something you claim. It's a decision, not a condition. Once that decision is made, you'll notice how life begins to bend itself to confirm it. The world always mirrors your dominant belief. If you see yourself struggling, it gives you struggle. If you see yourself destined for wealth, it delivers the tools, people, and paths to fulfill that identity. That not fantasy, that law. The second law is focus. Most men scatter their minds across 10 ambitions and accomplish none. The rich man selects one and pours his entire being into it until it bends the world in his favor. The average man dreams of many things, but commits to none. He plants 10 seeds, waters none, and wonders why nothing grows. You must train your thought to be linear, concentrated, definite. Wealth cannot flow to a man whose attention is diluted.
Every empire was first the result of monolithic focus, one burning desire, one unwavering vision, one unbroken chain of thought repeated until the world had no choice but to submit. When I say focus, I mean absolute command of your inner dialogue. You cannot allow stray thoughts of limitation to wander through your mental kingdom. Every time you think, I can't, you forge invisible chains. Every time you think, I, you shatter them. It is that simple. Your life is nothing but the accumulation of your most repeated thoughts. So if you wish to be a man of wealth, your thoughts must revolve around wealth as the earth revolves around the sun, daily, predictably, unshakably. Third law, the law of assumption. Whatever you assume a true becomes true to you. This is the secret mechanism behind every miracle, every success, every fortune. The subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between reality and belief. It simply obeys whichever is dominant.
If you assume wealth, act from wealth, speak from wealth, and move as if wealth were already your companion, your inner state changes immediately, and the outer world, which is yet a reflection, follows shortly after. The poor man waits for evidence before believing. The rich man believes. First, it commands the evidence into being. You must learn to act though it is done, not pretend, but embody. Now, let's discuss the rhythm of riches. Thoughts are not static. They move like rivers. You cannot think in abundance one day and fear the next and expect consistent results. The subconscious requires rhythm, routine, certainty. You must feed it the theta image of prosperity, the same emotion of gratitude, the same repetition of belief in morning every night, every idle moment between. Let your thoughts circle wealth so completely that it becomes second nature. When you pass a fine house, do not envy it, bless it. When you see a successful man, do not resent him, affirm him. Every act of admiration creates alignment. Every act of envy creates distance. You attract only what you respect. Here's something even deeper. Money is a shadow.
Poor low pyramid value goes. That's why the man who chases money always loses, but the man who builds value finds it running after him. You must train your thoughts not on riches themselves, but on the creation of value so immense that riches are inevitable. Ask yourself each day, how can I serve more, create more, build more, give more? The universe is transactional in nature. You cannot take out more than you've deposited in service. But once you begin pouring genuine value into the world, the law of compensation will hunt you down. It cannot be stopped.
Let's talk about fear, because this is the hidden tax on every dreamer. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of ridicule. These are the silent assassins of wealth. Fear is imagination misused. It is the same creative power that could have built your empire, now building your prison instead. But once you understand that fear is nothing but faith inverted, you can flip it back toward your goals. Every time you feel fear, recognize it proof that your imagination is strong, then redirect it. Instead of imagining what could go wrong, imagine what must go right. The mind doesn't care what pictures it paints, only that you keep painting. So paint prosperity. The next law, emotion follows thought, not the other way around. Don't wait to feel rich before you think rich. Think rich first, and the feelings will fall. The emotional state of wealth, calm, confidence, clarity, quiet certainty, must be rehearsed daily until it becomes your natural posture. Do not confuse this with arrogance. True wealth is silent. It does not need to boast. It moves through the world like a river, smooth, steady, unstoppable. And finally, the eighth law action seals belief. You cannot think of riches all day and refuse to act. Thought builds the lead action, brings this into form. Every idea must find its physical counterpart. The man who never moved may dream of wealth, but would die a philosopher of poverty. Do something even if it's small, even if it's imperfect, because the universe respects movement. The moment you act, energy flows toward you. The mind trained in riches always translates thought into motion. That is what separates dreamers from builders. So remember, you are not poor because the world has withheld wealth from you. You are poor because your thoughts have withheld it. But the instant you decide discipline and direct your mind toward abundance, the very laws that built Rockefeller Empire, that guided Carnegie fortune, that molded Buffett legacy, they awaken for you too. They don't play favorites. They respond only to command. So command them. Think of riches, the air around you, infinite, invisible, waiting. Breathe them in until your thoughts are soaked with prosperity. Speak them until your words drip with certainty. And when you walk a command who already owns his future, because the truth is, once your mind believes it, it's already yours. Now listen well, because what I am about to tell you is where most men stumble on the road to riches. They begin with enthusiasm, fire blazing in their hearts, and for a moment it feels as though the world bends in their favor. They speak eminent, they dream boldly, they feel power. But when no riches arrive within days or weeks, the doubt creeps back in. Their thoughts fracture, their faith weak, and they return to their former vibration, the frequency of lack. Understand this truth. The mind must be trained beyond excitement. Emotion may start the engine, but discipline drives the vehicle. You must train your thoughts as a soldier trains for war, calm under fire, unwavering when the battle grows long. The riches you seek are not testing your skill, they're testing your endurance. When you think of unlimited riches, the world will often appear to contradict you. You will face bills, setbacks, resistance, and voices that mock your faith. But remember this, obstacles are not punishment. They are confirmation. The universe never tests the man who doubts himself. Tests the man who dares to believe. It must see if your conviction can survive pressure, but only then can it trust you with wealth. Pressure refines gold, and thought is no different. When life squeezes you, it's asking, do you still believe? If you do, the gates open. If you don't, the process resets. Every test you pass increases your earning power, but it proves your thought is stronger than circumstance. The rich man understands this rhythm. He does not panic when temporary poverty appears. He smiles, for he knows it is only a shadow passing through the valley. He never curses the delay. He uses. He studies it. He builds patience from it. The poor man, on the other hand, lets one obstacle collapse his entire faith. He says it doesn't work, and his words become prophecy. The rich man says, it works even now, and that too becomes prophecy. You see, the mind is not creative only when things go right. It is most powerful when things go wrong. To think abundance when you have it is natural. To think abundance when you lack it is mastery. Every morning you rise, the first 5 minutes are sacred. The world is still quiet, your subconscious is open, and your next 24 hours are being programmed. Most men waste this hour in complaint, fatigue, or distraction, but the wise man knows this hour builds his empire. The instant you wake, don't reach for the world, reach for your command. Before you check a screen, check your belief. Sit still and declare, I am surrounded by abundance. Money obeys me because my thoughts are definite. I am calm, capable, and guided by infinite intelligence. Speak it slowly, like a man who knows his words are law. Then visualize it. See the wealth surrounding you, not a fantasy, but a fact. See your accounts overflowing, your projects flourishing, your confidence solid as iron. Do this daily, and you notice the invisible world shifting first, ideas appearing, people aligning, intuition sharpening. The physical follows soon after. You must also learn the art of mental silence. Wealth is built not in noise, but in stillness. The man who never stops thinking, worrying, talking, he dissipates his power. The man who can still his mind becomes magnetic. In silence, your mind is recharged. In silence, ideas descend. In silence, the subconscious organizes your future. Every day, spend at least 10 minutes alone. No sound, no device, no interruption. Just breathe and allow your mind to rest upon abundance like a hawk over open plains. you'll be surprised at how quickly clarity returns. The answers you've been chasing will begin to arrive without force, because the calm mind is the receiving station for wealth. Another secret: wealth is not greedy and obedient. It does not come to those who chase it desperately. It comes to those who command it calmly. Desperation repels abundance as it vibrates from fear. Calm expectancy attracts it because it vibrates from certainty. You must walk through life as if money already knows where to find you. Do not beg the universe for provision. Expect it. When you walk into a store, when you open a bill, when you negotiate a deal, hold this thought quietly. I am the source of value. Money is the reflection of my service.
The man who never stops thinking, worrying, talking, he dissipates his power. The man who can still his mind becomes magnetic. In silence, your mind is recharged. In silence, ideas descend. In silence, the subconscious organizes your future. Every day, spend at least 10 minutes alone. No sound, no device, no interruption. Just breathe and allow your mind to rest upon abundance like a hawk over open plains. You'll be surprised at how quickly clarity returns. The answers you've been chasing will begin to arrive without force, because the calm mind is the receiving station for wealth. Another secret: wealth is not greedy, it's obedient. It does not come to those who chase it desperately. It comes to those who command it calmly. Desperation repels abundance as it vibrates from fear. Calm expectancy attracts it because it vibrates from certainty. You must walk through life as if money already knows where to find you. Do not beg the universe for provision. Expect it. When you walk into a store, when you open a bill, when you negotiate a deal, hold this thought quietly. I am the source of value. Money is the reflection of my service.
Comes back multiplied because I send it out with confidence. This thought alone, practiced daily, will alter your posture, your tone, your decisions, and your bank balance, Vinzvala. You also need to understand the difference between motion and creation. Many men stay busy but create nothing. They chase tasks, run errands, fill their calendars, yet remain poor. Wealth is not built by activity, it is built by intention. Every action must be anchored in thought. Ask yourself before every effort, does this move me closer to my definite chief aim? If it does not, it is noise disguised in progress. The rich man conceives his energy, focuses it in a beam, and executes with clarity. The poor man scatters his thought in 100 directions, confusing motion with momentum. Be still until your thought is ready, then move with precision. That is how a single decision can accomplish what 1,000 hours of busyness never could. There is also the matter of persistence. Wealth is a jealous companion. It does not reveal itself to the easily discouraged. You must court it daily, faithfully, until your consistency convinces it you are serious. Every failure is a question from the universe. Will you continue? Every delay asks, do you still believe? Your answer must always be action, not complaint, not retreat, not doubt, action. One more step, one more let, one more idea, one more day. Because persistence builds momentum, and momentum is the bridge between thought and manifestation. And let it tell you something about the highest form of wealth, peace. The truly rich man is not the one who has the most gold. He is the one whose mind is still, whose faith is unshakable, whose nights are undisturbed. When you master your mind, money is merely a reflection of your inner order. If you gain wealth but lose peace, you've misunderstood the purpose. Wealth is not the goal, mastery is. Because once the mind is trained to think richly, it will continue to multiply riches long after the first fortune is spent. That is the real inheritance, not money, but mindset. So train your mind every morning as a general trains his troops, firm, deliberate, without hesitation. Guard it through the day like a sacred fire. Feed it on thoughts that build, reject those that weaken. And before you sleep, review your progress. Ask, did I think a rich man today? Did I speak be one? Did I act as one? If yes, rest easy. Your fortune is already forming. If no, resolve and recommit. Tomorrow is another chance to command your mind, and through it command the world. For when your thought is definite, your faith unwavering, and your purpose aligned, the entire universe conspires to enrich you. Now let it speak to you plainly as man can. The world road you has no limit. It is not heaven that withholds your riches. It is your own hesitation to claim them. The universe does not ration opportunity, nor does it choose favorites. It simply reflects the thoughts you repeat most often. This is why the poor stay poor, not because they lack access, but because they rehearse limitation so faithfully that the law of cause and effect delivers it without fail. The rich, however, rehearse a burnt with equal conviction. They expect success so fully that the world must obey. Every sunrise brings them confirmation, not surprise. They wake not asking if wealth will come, but through which door it did enter today. You must now recondition your mind to expect wealth naturally. It naturally as you expect daylight. Think of it. The sun rises whether or not you believe it did. You don't plead for it, you align with it. You open your windows and receive its light. Wealth is no different. It is constant, if flowing, ed willing. But few have opened their minds to let it in. Most men hide in dark rooms of doubt, waiting for a miracle while the light of opportunity burns just outside. To receive riches, you must remove the curtains of fear. You must think in terms of expansion, not survival. Poverty whispers, be careful. Abundance commands, be courageous. Let it tell you something most never grasp. Your thoughts do not just shape your mood, they shape your frequency. Every thought emits a vibration, and this vibration determines your circle of events. Think small, and you'll magnetize smallness, small paychecks, small opportunities, small dreams. Think vast, and you summon vastness. The world rearranges itself to match your inner scale. The difference between a man who earns $100 a week and one who earns $1 million is not luck, schooling, or genius. It is scale. The poor man mind operates like a candle, the rich man like a power plant. The current of thought is the same, but the equipment determines its capacity. You must enlarge your mental machinery, and that begins by refusing to think in scarcity even for a second. Do not say, I'll start when I have more. That phrase is the anthem of poverty. You must begin where you are, with what you have, and think though the wealth were already yours. The man who waits for evidence never creates it. The man who believes first, even in silence and solitude, summons it. That is the law, unbreakable, impartial, exact. You may test it at any moment. For 30 days, hold no thought of lack. Refuse every idea of limitation. When your mind says, it not enough, reply, it is grow. When it says, I can't, reply, I know. When it says, I don't see how, reply, I don't need to see how. I only need to believe. Speak this truth, a daily oath, and you will begin to feel the ground shift beneath your life. But beware, your environment is your test. The man who tries to train his mind while living among the defeated will fail. Thoughts are contagious. You cannot think richly while surrounded by complainers, doubters, and victims. Their words plant seeds in your soil while you sleep. If you would grow oaks, do not dwell among weeds. Choose your company with the same precision you choose your investments. Surround yourself with minds that speak of growth, enterprise, faith, and order. Every conversation is either feeding your fortune or starving it. The wise man never engages in gossip, never debates limitation, never joins the chorus of what wrong. He speaks only of possibilities, progress, and purpose. You must also understand that the universe rewards order, not chaos. Look at nature. Every system operates by law. The planets do not collide. The seasons do not argue. Yet most men live in mental disorder, scattered thoughts, emotional storms, no definite tag. Then they wonder why their lives resemble confusion. The rich man organizes his thoughts as he would a business. He assigns each idea a purpose, each goal a timeline, each fear an answer. This internal order magnetizes external order, wealth, opportunity, and peace. The disordered mind can never hold riches, for it leaks energy through worry, doubt, and indecision. So every morning, before you touch the world, bring your mind to order. Write your definite purpose, repeat it aloud, and demand of yourself a level of clarity that would make confusion a shame to enter. The next key is this: gratitude is the magnet of multiplication. Most men thank life after they receive. The wise man thanks before. Gratitude is the proof of faith, and faith is the currency of creation. When you give thanks for what you desire before it arrives, you are declaring ownership in advance. You will say, "It already mine in the invisible, soon it'll be mine in the visible." That declaration rewires your entire being for abundance. So every morning, write 3 sentences. I am grateful for the riches now forming round me. I am grateful for the opportunities I recognize today. I am grateful that money flows to me easily, lawfully, and endlessly. Read them with emotion, and you will feel the vibration of wealth begin to hum through your spirit. Let us also speak of forgiveness, for no man can hold riches while clutching resentment. Anger, jealousy, bitterness, these are mental debts that drain your balance. The energy you waste on resentment could have been building your fortune. To forgive is not to excuse another, it is to free yourself. Release the man who wronged you, the past that betrayed you, the event that scarred you. Say aloud, "You owe me nothing, for I now collect won't from the law of increase." In that moment, you make space for wealth to enter. A closed heart cannot receive abundance. Forgiveness reopens the gates. Now remember this final discipline, act immediately upon ideas. The mind that thinks in riches receives constant inspiration, but only those who act turn those sparks into fortune. Do not wait until you feel ready. Readiness is a myth, invented by the hesitant. The rich man acts first and corrects later. He knows that life rewards speed and punishes delay. Every day ideas cross your mind, small nudges, quiet urges, sudden insights. Most people ignore them because they lack proof, but the proof comes after obedience, never before. Act on intuition as though it were command, and you will find that unseen hands moves to assist you. Delay is the death of opportunity. Act now, even in uncertainty, and watch certainty form beneath your feet. So the command stands, train your mind to think of unlimited riches until the thought itself feels natural. Let no conversation, no fear, no circumstance persuade you otherwise. Write your purpose daily. Guard your faith hourly. Speak abundance into every silence. Live though wealth is your default setting, because in truth, it is. The universe cannot deny a man whose mind is made up. Let me tell you something that separates the ordinary man from the extraordinary one. It is not intelligence, not education, not luck, but mental repetition of wealth. The world responds not to what you wish once, but to what you think about endlessly. The poor man says, "I tried to believe," and gives up after a week. The rich man builds belief until it becomes unbreakable, like muscle forged under constant strain. You see, thought is a tool, but only when sharpened daily does it cut through limitation. When left unused, it rusts into doubt. The richest men in history, from Carnegie to Buffett, understood this. Wealth is simply the physical echo of disciplined thinking. You must, therefore, live though your mind were a sacred forge, heating, shaping, and hardening one thought. Unlimited riches are mine by law. Each morning when the world is still dim and quiet, for the noise of obligation steals your attention, speak to yourself, any man of dominion. Say aloud, "My wealth is certain, my ideas multiply. My mind is fertile ground, and all my plant grows tenfold." Feel those words. Don't say them like recitations, say them like commands. You're not hoping, you're issuing law, because in truth, the mind is not persuaded by weak wishes, it is ruled by firm decrees. The subconscious hears tone, not doubt. When you speak wealth fact, it obeys. When you speak fear maybe, it delays. The average man prays, a beggar the wise man declares a king. That is why one keeps waiting while the other keeps building. You must all remember that imagination is not childish fantasy. It is the architect of all reality. Every fortune, every invention, every empire began at image held, though in one man mind, that the world had no choice but to imitate it. You must see your wealth before the world does, visualize your accounts filled, your projects successful, your investments growing. Don't just see it, feel it. Feel the satisfaction, the freedom, the responsibility. Make your imagination so detailed that your nervous system begins to act dead if it were already real. Because once your subconscious accepts an image as fact, it begins to reorganize your behavior to match it. Suddenly, you notice new paths, attract new allies, and repel distractions that no longer align with your new vibration. That not mysticism, that mechanics. Now, let's speak about patience. Most men plant seeds of wealth and dig them up after a week to see if they've grown. The wise man plants, waters, and guards the soil, but never doubts the harvest. Every thought of impatience digs up progress by the roots. The law of increase works on time, not whim. It did not reward a man who changes vent every 7 days. Wealth requires a rhythm, steady, deliberate, and unbroken. Train your mind to trust the unseen process. Remind yourself daily that delay is not denial, that the roots are forming even when you see no fruit. When you master patience, your energy stabilizes, and wealth flows to stability like rivers to the sea. You must also eradicate guilt.
There is a sickness that poisons many men, the belief that desiring riches makes them greedy. It does not. It makes them responsible. Poverty does not serve the world. Contribution does, and contribution requires power, financial, mental, emotional. The more you possess, the more you can distribute. The miser hoards, the wise man multiplies. When you think of wealth, think of it a duty, not a dream. Your job is not to apologize for abundance, but to expand it with honor. Say aloud, I do not chase wealth to escape the world. I build it to serve it better. Let that thought burn away every trace of guilt, because the man who feels guilty about riches unconsciously repels them. And when fear visits, you must greet it like an uninvited guest who has overstayed his welcome. Fear will whisper, what if it fails? What if you lose everything? What if you're not good enough? And you must answer with authority, then I will rebuild twice as fast. I cannot lose, as I am governed by law, and law cannot fail. Speak this until fear becomes embarrassed to remain. The man who can hold calm in chaos is already richer than most. Fear will test you before every breakthrough. But remember this, every storm that approaches your life is simply life asking, are you ready to hold what you asked for? Stand tall, unshaken. That is the posture of the wealthy. Next, build your environment for riches. Your surroundings are the reflection of your belief. Clean your desk, organize your space, dress with pride, even when no one watching. These small acts tell your subconscious, I am preparing for more. The universe never delivers abundance to the unprepared. When your external world reflects order, your internal world follows, and together they create a frequency that calls prosperity home. Wealth despises clutter. This clutter signals confusion. Remove everything that does not serve your purpose. The space you clear will be filled with opportunity. Now listen, repetition is the mother of mastery. The world will try to pull you back to mediocrity daily, so you must reassert your dominion daily. Morning by morning, you must renew your vision, speak your creed, and visualize your abundance. Do it so consistently that it becomes instinct. The mind, once trained, obeys automatically. You won't have to force faith which live in you. You'll begin to move differently, slower, more deliberate, more certain. People will feel something in your presence, a quiet authority, the aura of a man who expects the best, because he has already accepted it. That energy alone opens doors money can't buy. And finally, you must give. Wealth stagnates when it is hoarded. The same law that brings money to you requires that you release it freely when guided. Giving does not decrease riches, it multiplies them. But you must give from belief, not from fear. Give for though you are a channel of endless supply. When you give with faith, the universe refills your channel faster than you can empty it. That is why every great industrialist, every true millionaire has always given in proportion to his wealth. It is not charity, it is circulation. Money, like blood, must flow to sustain life. So train your mind, speak your law, live your command. From this day forward, refuse to think of limits. Picture riches until you breathe them.